So after Food Wars, I got left with an empty hole in my life that involved like cooking mangas and something interesting to bring me out new recipes. And as I was sitting there pondering and thinking about it, my roommate said, "Hey, why don't you go check this out?" What's up, everyone? It's me, Schmmo. I'm back with another manga review, and yes, we are hitting back down the food trail. We are going to talk about Crazy Food Truck, and as always, we're going to do a brief overview, then we're going to talk about it in detail with spoilers, and then we're going to talk about the art. Now, once we get to the spoilers, I'll post my time code, but let's hop right into it. Gordon is a gruff, middle-aged cook running a food truck in a sand-covered wasteland. That's when he encounters Arisa, a naked girl sleeping in the middle of the road. She's in a sleeping bag, don't you worry about that. He takes her on as an unintended travel companion with her unexpected appetite. Too bad she also has unexpected baggage. An armed militia is hot on her trail. Fasten your seatbelts for a post-apocalyptic cooking and violent mayhem on the Crazy Food Truck road trip. So basically, this follows our main boy Gordon here. He is a male man just running a food truck, and it's a post-apocalyptic world. We don't know what happens. It doesn't explain this in the first volume, but I'm pretty sure as we go on, it'll explain more. But he's just cruising down, enjoying, listening to some music, singing on top of his lungs. All of a sudden, he veers off the road and tries to avoid this thing in the middle of the road, breaking some of his whiskey and beer in the back, which, you know, he's really sad about, and I get why. Well, he sees this thing in the middle of the road, so he gets out, unzip it, bam, Arisa's there. This naked girl. So he's like, I can't leave her. So he basically zips it up, doesn't cover her face, throws her in the back of the car, and keeps on going. So she's in a nice, cool environment, and she's not, you know, out in the hot weather. She wakes up, asks a bunch of questions, and it goes from there. And as they're talking, he keeps yelling at her to throw some clothes on because she's not getting dressed. And then that's when the militia gets introduced, and that's when all the crazy hijinks start going on. This itself, the story is very gritty and very bloody. And when I say gritty, I'm talking about the interaction with Gordon and other people. He's a very straightforward businessman. It's all about money, and it's all about making the cooking for the customer and making them happy. Meanwhile, with Arisa, it's, you know, violence and hunger. She's hungry, but she's not afraid to kill. Same with Gordon. He is straight up not afraid to kill. And as we go on into the story more, we'll explain some of the stuff they come across and deal with. But in this first volume, they do a very good job with the world building. Well, let me rephrase that. They do an okay job. As they get into some other towns and dealing with people, you develop more of the background. And it's slowly, you start getting an idea of how unique the animals are. That's what I'm talking about, the world building. Basically, the surroundings with the wildlife and everything is very unique. Some of the names they come up with, some of the designs, it's very good, unique. And they do very good with the characters. Overall, they introduce a bunch of good, probably more very important people at the very end of the book. But, you know, very good with Gordon, how he interacts with people. Good with Arisa, with how she interacts with people and interacts with Gordon. You know, treating her like, I guess, like a father figure. You know, she's freeloading and all that stuff. But if you want to go into more detail, here's the time code if you don't, but we're hopping right into it. So like I said, as Gordon shows up, he sees her in the road, he's like, what the fuck is this? He picks her up and throws it in the back of the car, and he just goes about his day, you know, singing, and then she wakes up, butt-ass naked in there. She was just curled up in there with a stuffed animal, if I remember correctly. And then he starts talking, and it's like, hey, we're going to take you to the next town, we're going to get rid of you, you know, go ahead and eat, I bet food on the thing, you know, gave her food, and then the next day rolls around. You realize she literally ate enough food to feed 200 people, in the back of the car. He had enough to feed 200 people, and then himself. She ate it all overnight, and, cleaned them out. So he's like, oh, we gotta go clear, gotta go and get food. So they go and do this interaction thing, talk about hunting for food, showing how to live off the land and all that. They get back to the truck, he starts making food, and then starts driving away. As they drive away, that's when the militia is introduced. And the militia is straight up just trying to kill them. Doesn't care what Gordon has to offer. They know that the girl's in the back. I would show pictures, but she's naked half the time. But as you see, things get crazy. Gordon presses some buttons in his truck, and all of a sudden this giant cannon comes out, blows up the people behind him, ends that thing. Moving on, they go on and capture this giant sand squid. At first it was about yay big, what Gordon caught. He was like, alright, this is probably the biggest one in the lake here. You know, does his own thing. She's like, Arisa's like, let me go and try. He's like, yeah, sure, you do whatever. So he goes and basically forges the area for other items he can use to collect and make, dishes, because that's his big thing. He wants to give to the customer, give them good food, give them what they want. Comes back, and then there's this giant ass squid. Well, she captured it. She got this giant ass squid. So guess what? They're going to be eating on some squid jerky, for a long, 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 long time. See, look how big that is. And it gives a good comparison size between her over here. Yeah, her over here to the squid, and gives everything in retrospect. So she goes on and shows how good she is fighting and just knocks it out in one blow. Gordon wasn't even confident in it. And she just goes right here between the eyes, kills it. So Gordon goes up, cuts it up, and makes dried squid jerky, all this stuff, and makes squid burgers. So they go on to the next town. Well, it turns out this town is overrun by this people who dropped out of the military and ran away. Well, they run their own gang. Long story short, Gordon and Arisa do a bunch of stuff, and they take the town back, and they turn in the militia, and they get turned in. The townspeople are free, but the townspeople say they took care of it. They don't say anything about Gordon or Arisa. They said, "Yep, no, we took care of it. In fact, we had enough, and did it." And that's because they know that they're on the run. Because I'm pretty sure they sat down, with them, talked, and did all this stuff, and opened up a brewery, which was very happy for Gordon because he got more beer. So fast forward, they get to an outpost. Gordon, they start having a nice deal, and that's when Gordon get basically surrounded. He's like, he basically gets told by this other person, "You need to turn her in, Major or General Gordon." You find out that Gordon used to be part of the military, but we don't know why he left, and that's how the volume ends. Overall, the world building is okay. Like I said before, it's okay. As it gets near the end, you see more and more world building. The beginning's kind of just like, alright, we're out here, here's some action, here's like how good they are in a fight. It just takes it from there. So let's go into the art. As I said before, the art style is very gritty with it. As you can see right here, how the old gritty style, and how they represent who they are and what their their strength and everything, kind of thing. But it's also very detail oriented with what's going on with the environment, such as running a truck through a wall. It shows basically every detail, especially when it comes to blood and gore and getting shot in the head and shit kicked out of them and punched out of them. And overall, they did very good with the background. They did very good with the action scenes. They also did very good with giving the side characters and the main characters distinguished looks. As you see here, you can see Gordon up here with his look, but you can also see that they kind of gave the side characters a little bit of distinguished looks. There's the baddie back here. He's a fat man. I would show you some other looks of him, but I don't want to show naked women on here because God knows that's very inappropriate for a manga review, and they can't really do that in case a kid comes stumbling along. But it shows how corrupt he is by look, and he's like, alright, he's a commander, and he built all of his wealth so he can sit back and relax, and got fat and took over with his power. They made it very sure and very detailed about how you can tell that. So, how would I describe this? This is basically Soma if he got older and he went to go and do stuff like in a post-apocalyptic world. And what I really love at the end of the book, they go and show you some recipes that you can do at home. They teach you how to do it, and such as like the BLT. You basically cook the bacon until it's crisp, slice the baguettes in half, throw some butter on the open face and toast it. Spread the mustard, plenty of mustard on the baguettes, and load them up as much as you can to take a bite with, bacon, lettuce, tomato. And it tells you how to do squid sashimi over here. Whether you can do that in real life or not, I'm not sure, because it's very straightforward. It says, cut up, eat it while fresh. They're directions. And it just gives you the list of ingredients. So, I mean, whether you can do it or not, that's on you. The BLT is the more realistic one, because I'm not sure anyone can just get a hold of, squid, per se, because this is talking about sand squid, but it's regular squid. Talking about, you can put cheese on it, you can put scrambled eggs on it, all different types of stuff. But just like the original Food Wars books, they put recipes and everything in it. So I'm looking forward to see if this puts more recipes in it, because I'm very, very, very interested. So that's what I think about Crazy Food Truck. Let me know what you think. This is one's hitting the shelves now. It's a Viz signature. Viz signature is putting out a lot of good stuff right now, so I highly recommend keep an eye out for that line from Viz. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.